Hi, Michael Force here again with Rise Digital Marketing Mastery course here. We're on lesson number 11, or excuse me, lesson number 12 here. Lesson number 12 is give a little bit, get a lot. The power of moving the free line, or essentially offering free content, offering people something that they can get in with initially, and then you can upsell them or get them to buy more expensive products. So that's one of the most powerful things that you'll ever see in any kind of marketing. That's why you'll see a lot of Fortune 500 companies offering, free samples, or they're offering free promotions or discounts or different things like that. Moving what they call the free line, where you're essentially moving something in to get people in initially, giving them a little value up front, and then they'll buy from you again and again and again. So I'll break all that down and exactly how you can do that with your business here, and lesson number 12, and I'll see you on the inside. See you there. Hello, Michael Force here again. Welcome to lesson number 12 of the Rise Digital Marketing Mastery course here. Here we're going to talk about giving a little, get a lot, the power of moving the free line. Let's dive in. Nowadays, the cost of creating and giving away immense value is really zero. Basically, anything you can stream online can be given away at essentially no cost these days. So as a result of this, what are most businesses doing? Absolutely nothing. Giving away to your customers free items, free samples, or anything of value that's free has always been a powerful and effective tool to pique the interest of your customer base and get them to buy. On the other hand, the old model of giving away free items used to cost a lot to do. So not only did it cost a business the actual price of the free item before giving it away, but the actual process of giving it away would cost an arm and a leg as well. However, computer technology, and in particular the internet, has dramatically changed all of this by allowing us to distribute and give away just about anything at virtually no cost, regardless of whether it's a document, audio file, video, media, or even physical items. In the past, before the internet, made it so easy to give away and distribute so many different types of things. If you were a business and wanted to give something away, you had to have something literally stand out on the sidewalk and physically bother others in order to give something away to them, to be it a promotion, a free sales item, sample, or whatever. Another way it used to be done was to get on calls or letters from interested prospects, and here you'd pack your free items, pay postage, and pay simple shipping cost, all to ship out whatever it is that you were going to give away for free. This was all very costly, as you can imagine. It must be kept in mind that even back then, giving away items for free, whether through mail or in person, is still quite effective and will probably be used for a long time to come. Again, however, it used to cost a whole lot. For example, let's say that in the past you wanted to give away a 1-hour video to whomever called your business and requested one. To start off, you first had to pay to run the advertisement telling the world that you'd actually had a free video. Then you had to pay to create the actual 1-hour video. You also had to pay to manage the call department, where your customer service reps took the calls from people interested in acquiring the video. On top of that, you had to pay for the computer system to manage it all. You also had to have someone packing and shipping the videos, and if you did it in volume, it would still cost you at least $20 per video. All this just to give away a 1-hour video. Well, if you compare this with today's technological capabilities, the cost has dropped dramatically. Today, if you plan to give away a free 1-hour video to your customer base, there is no need to pay for a call center with people receiving the calls. There's no need to pay for any sort of physical packaging or shipping. You don't have to create expensive ad campaigns to spread the word that you're giving away something for free. You don't have to spend much at all when creating the actual video, if you even need to create one in the first place. There's also no need to pay for any sort of computer system to organize it all. You can just put the entire operation together online so that anyone visiting your website can get access to the video, and they can do all the work themselves, like filling out a subscriber form, answering a few questions, and/or downloading the video. On top of all that, you can even use free hosting services like YouTube to store and provide access to the video absolutely free of charge. These hosting services also give you the option of modifying your video and using it in special formats, thus providing your audience even more value. The point is that today you can give things away at virtually no cost compared to before, where the same thing used to cost significant amounts of money. The fact is simply an extremely important development. It's also an awesome power now that we have because it allows us to create tons of value and distribute it to almost a limitless number of people, all at a very little or no charge. But as this is a big but, when you consider the power this has, the power that the internet has in allowing us to freely distribute something or of great value to a wide target segment at little or no cost, the unfortunate reality is that not too many people are caught up in the idea. Why is this so? Well, basically, people don't think it's fair to give stuff away in the first place. People and businesses nowadays are so caught up in the idea of not giving away stuff for free because to them it's not fair. They want people to pay for stuff, for the knowledge, for that PDF report or 1-hour video. They don't want people to get away with something valuable for free. Every time I talk about this subject, I remember one of my favorite stories that happened several years ago when I started my first online business. I have a good friend that approached me one day and he said, every year I see people selling ebooks and training courses and making lots of money with them. I'd like to do that myself. Will you tell me what to do? Well, regarding this particular situation, he was a real estate investor that made himself independently wealthy through investing in real estate. So, you want to create some courses and teach them by selling ebooks, I said. He said, yes, exactly. I said, so in essence, he wanted to write an ebook, split it up into different courses, and sell them. So I said, well, this is what you should do. Set up a website, take your very best idea and put it on the website for free, in the form of a report or video, or anything that people can get access to. After that, give it away to as many people as you possibly can give it away to. In exchange for them acquiring the free content, require them to opt in to your subscriber list that you will have, and then start enlarging this list to include as many good prospects as possible so you can then sell them your products or services. And he said, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to do that. I'm not going to give away my very best idea. And I said, well, why not? He replied, I wouldn't give my best ideas away to someone who I don't even know. I mean, I would only teach that to someone that had paid me a lot of money. And this is exactly where the challenge comes in because it's not intuitive for people to give away their very best ideas for free. When we asked to do something like that, all kinds of human chimp psychological barriers come up. All sorts of emotions get triggered. So we falter. We say, I can't. I just can't do that. It doesn't seem fair to give it away. This is similar to the monkey trap they use in Africa, where the monkey's own greed is used against it. Regarding this trap in Africa, hunters cut a little hole in a tree, and then they carve it out and hollow out the inside of the small hole. After that, they put a nut in the hole. Then, of course, the hunters go hide somewhere. Next, the monkey comes over and sticks its hand and it feels the nut, and then the monkey clasps its very tight little fists around the nut, so as a result, the poor monkey can't pull out his fist, let alone the nut. At this point, the hunter walks over nonchalantly and just kills the monkey, throws it over his shoulder and walks away because the monkey is just too greedy. It's too greedy and won't let go of the nut. And we're like that with our knowledge and with our expertise, actually with whatever it is that we own. We just won't give something away without getting something in return. Ern Nightingale is one of the founders of personal development and self-help concepts that have become popular in our time. In his particular program, The Strangest Secret, he talked about how most people were walking up to a wood stove, wanting to utilize all that nice heat that they had, just didn't want to put any wood in the stove. So if you want to create a lot of value, if you want to attract a lot of people, and turn them into customers. If you want to grow a business, then you want to build relationships fast. You want to use the power of the internet. You want to move the free line and give away something that is more than just an advertisement. So the new model is to give away something of real value. Here, try to think of the highest leveraged item you can give away. I think this should include content that educates your customer and We've learned about that and what types of content to use and how to educate them with it. These include free reports, free videos, free webinars, free consultations, and other free content items which are all very high in perceived value. So, what would you create and give away? I recommend you create and give away something that's worth at least $100. Again, let me repeat that. Create and give away something that's at least worth $100. So create a set of free content downloads, videos, webinars, and other training that's worth at least $100, and then give it away to as many people as you possibly can. To do this, you must get over what I call your justice mechanism. As I mentioned already, we have all these chimp responses that come up when we hear about giving away our best stuff for free, and we resist doing this. We just won't do it. So I'm going to tell you about a little experiment that scientists have done. It's a little game they played that revolves how our human nature can prevent us from creating success. Here's how it works. The game is called the ultimatum game. And what they do is sit two people at a table. Let's call the first person A and the second person B. So we get person A and B, and they have never met. They don't know each other, and this is the first time they're meeting. Then the conductors of the experiment take out $100 and they put it in front of a person, A, and they say you can split this money between you and person B in whatever way you'd like, but there's a catch. Person B gets to choose whether both of you get the money or whether neither of you get the money. So typically what person A does is they take the $100 and they split it in half and they give person B their half and they keep the other half for themselves. In this case, person B typically says, yep, that sounds good. They both get to keep the money and they each walk away $50 richer. But in some cases, person A gets a bright idea. They realize that any amount of money they offer person B is going to be more money than person B walked in with, and it's going to be free money to them. And so person B should always say yes, regardless of what person A decides the split should be. So person A will say, you know what? I'm going to give you 40 and I'm going to keep 60 for myself. Or I'm going to give you 30 and I'm going to keep 70 for myself. Or I'm going to give you 20 and I'm going to keep 80 for myself. Well, somewhere around the 70-30 line, somewhere around person B getting half as much as the other person A, person B says, no, screw it. Neither of us will get any money. And both of them walk away empty-handed. Because if you remember, person B gets control over whether they get to keep the money the way person A divided it or whether neither of them gets the money. Now, if you think about this, it doesn't make any sense at all. Person B is sitting across the table from someone they've never met and they're being offered free money. They can just take the money, stand up and leave. It might be $20 or $30, but regardless, why would anyone ever, neither of them would get the money? They say no because they just can't stand to see the other son of a bitch get an advantage over them. They can't stand to see someone else benefit or get more than them. So I call this the justice mechanism. We have a mechanism inside of all of us that won't stand to see injustice, especially when it's been done to us. By the way, for most human beings, justice and fairness is defined as I get my fair share, or I get more than everyone else, because it seems very just and fair when we get to have more than everyone else. But we just won't stand to get anything less. I doubt any of you would disagree with this, and this is the reality. It is truly a really interesting insight about human behavior. Now, in order to succeed moving the free line, I think it's in business and marketing, you have to overcome the justice mechanism. You have to realize that it's going to come up and it's going to try to stop you. But that's okay. It was built for a time that doesn't exist anymore. So keep going and doing the right thing. Another one of my favorite stories is about a restaurant owner in San Francisco that did something interesting. When you go to the restaurant and sit down, they would bring over a glass of water and then a jug of wine. And they would say, drink as much as you want. Then tell us how many glasses you had at the end. So you come in with a date, you sit down, you take the jug of wine and drink as much as you want. You then tell your waiter or waitress how much wine you drank, and you get charged for the amount that you told them. So a reporter showed up and interviewed the owner of the restaurant. And he said, you realize that people are ripping you off because they're drinking a lot more than they're telling you. And he says, yes, but look inside. There's a line of people wanting to get in here that stretches all around the block. The reporter was worried about the owner's justice mechanism, while the owner was worried about how to spend his ridiculous increase in profits. Dumb like a fox, if you get my meaning, this owner had figured out how to overcome his own justice mechanism. He let his customers win, and everyone profited in the long run. So you can create and give away something that's worth at least $100. I recommend, again, free content, downloads, videos, etc. that are worth at least $100. Now, I don't mean worth at least $100 in comparison to other content. I mean worth at least $100 of value to the person watching it. So for example, let's say I'm teaching you one tip that could increase the conversion on your website by 10%. And let's say I'm talking about business owners that do $100,000 a year on their website. I'm going to value that information at $10,000 a year in additional sales. So I'm talking about $100 worth of value that you could communicate, translate, and rationalize, but you must be communicating something that's great, something new and not cliche, something that feels meaty. Basically, you must be communicating something that feels truly valuable. And the equation here is give away more value equals attract more people to your site and your list. The more value you give away, the more you attract people to your site and to your list. There's a reason here. In the future, the game is about who can create the most value. And what we're seeing is that more value you give away, the more people you'll attract. Okay, I'd like to share a little case study of when I did my first mastermind, specifically of how I moved the free line. I've been talking about this idea of moving the free line for years now, and I thought to myself, okay, do I really believe that the more you move the free line, the more response you're going to get? Is there a limit to this? Now, of course, I do think that there is a limit. If you give your customer everything they need so they end up being completely satisfied, then they won't need to buy anything else from you. That obviously means that you might be going a little overboard. Regarding some effective ratios based on my experience, though, you might want to give away 10% of all the value that you could ever provide, or 10 to 20% of the really good stuff, and then of course save some of the other valuable stuff to sell in your products or services. But I also ask myself sometimes, can you give away too much? And what I did was set out to give away $1,000 worth of value over the course of a few weeks to as many people as possible. And here's why. I was launching a high-end coaching program that was priced between $500 to $1,000 per month. And I wanted to give a bunch of people the experience of what it would be like to get high-end training as well as get coached by me. And this experience would be valued to the tune of $1,000 a month. So over the course of 4 weeks, what I did is I created a series of trainings and gave away tools and resources, free live training webinars, created useful content and free reports, and gave folks an experience of what it would be like to be trained by me. And then I went out to my prospective affiliate partners and told them to start giving this stuff away to their own list right before launching my mastermind coaching program, and also informed them that I'd share the money with them from any customer signing up from me that came from them. Now, there was also some other things that I did in the background. For instance, I had a big affiliate contest with all kinds of prizes and things to align everything together and really leverage all of my resources to the max. But regardless, the key factor of the equation was being tested had to do with whether or not I could give away too much. Well, the result was that I had my most successful launch to date. We did millions of dollars right out of the gate, and at no point did I seem like I could give away too much. So back to my original point, I strongly recommend when you get started to create something worth at least $100 in value that you can communicate, rationalize, and translate $100 worth of real value. This could be 10 or 20 page downloadable PDF report. This could also be a 30 to 60 minute video. It could be a webinar or an audio program. It simply has to be something that has the feeling of being worth $100, and then it must be offered to as many people as possible. Give it away for free. Talk about it on social media platforms and spread it to as many social media contacts and followers as possible. Also, make sure to allow your affiliate partners to give it away to their lists as well. Just give it away to as many people as you can, and you'll watch your business grow. So let's do an exercise. As our world goes even deeper into the technology age, and as technology itself becomes more and more powerful, it's become vastly easier and cheaper to create, give away, and mass distribute valuable offers such as training, education, software, videos, webinars, reports, and more, all at virtually no cost. To take advantage of this, you should understand the power of giving away something for free. You should understand that the strategy of creating and distributing free-line product will attract a high volume of prospective customers to your business. So creating something that has a legitimate $100 value or more, then give it away in exchange for opting into your list. Now for the first question, what would you create and give away that could cause prospective customers to flock to you to get it? Now for question number 2, how could you format an educational training or video in a way that would make it worth at least $100 to your prospect? Basically, how could you create your giveaway item, your lead magnet, and package it up so that it's really had a feel and appearance of being worth $100 or more to your prospect? So go ahead and complete that exercise, and I will see you on the next lesson. Take care, and we'll see you there.